I'm sure as all of you are very well aware, gun control is a huge topic in today's world. When our country was founded, we were given the right to keep and bear arms, and we should still have that right to this day. On December 15th, 1791, the Second Amendment was added to the U.S. Constitution, which states that all Americans are granted the right to keep and bear arms. This was created because the writers of the Constitution believed that all Americans should be guaranteed the freedom against tyranny. English laws required that all men practice firearms, and this way, if they were called to duty to protect their nation, they would be well prepared. The Second Amendment implies that this is not a right given to us by the government, and it is not an American right. It is a human right. And these truths are tied into the Declaration of Independence, which states that all men are created, all men have the right to life and liberty in which they are endowed by their Creator. Gun control is all over the politics right now. In almost every presidential debate, this is one of the main topics that they focus on. And I just want to state before I get into my speech that I do agree with strict background checks in order to purchase a firearm, in which a lot of the politicians also agree with this, or they say they do, and they could just be saying this to get votes right now, and if elected to office, they could change their opinions because they are politicians, and this is what they're notorious for. So I just want to say that this speech is aimed towards the people who believe that no one should be able to carry a concealed weapon, even if they have a permit, or people who believe that guns should just be banned entirely. So many attacks, burglaries, and rapes have been prevented because the victim was armed. From a post on theactivepost.com in 2012, Steve Nolan says that between October 2003 and November 2011, out of the 5,000 incidents reported, 488 were home burglaries, and another 1,227 were other incidents where an attacker was confronted by an inhabitant who was armed. And after this, the attacker fled, and they were not injured or shot. They just left the property. There were also 25 rapes that were stopped, and 201 attacks by senior citizens, which are people who are over the age of 65 who were armed with a gun. And a lot of times we hear the saying, an attacker can take the gun away from an armed victim. Well, this has been proved invalid because 227 incidences have occurred in which the inhabitant actually took the gun from the attacker, and only 11 incidents where the attacker took the gun. Now, most of the time when this happens, the inhabitant is able to apprehend the attacker until the police arrive in order to arrest them and charge them. And because the inhabitant was armed, they have protected themselves, anyone else in the area, and potentially anyone that the criminal could go out on those streets and attack in the future. Now, in Hillary Clinton's debates, a lot of times she says that 90 people die a day from guns, and that's $33,000 a year. Well, on an article found on ontheissues.com published this year, these facts are correct, but there are little details that she does not mention. Research from the federal CDC reports that of the 32,888 deaths by a gun, over 21,000 of them were suicide. So it makes a little bit of a difference once you hear the whole story. To go into my second argument, even if the government were to take away citizens' rights to own guns, there's no guarantee that people still won't own them or distribute them illegally. On an article found on thinkprogress.com in 2013, Nicole Flatlow says that the Department of Justice statistics says that while only 8% of the federal prisoners were sentenced for violent crimes in 2011, over half of the inmates were in prison for drug-related crimes. Now, the consequences for distributing or possession of illegal substances can result in fines from $100 to thousands of dollars or sentences from days to decades in prison. Now, these criminals know this. They go out and do these illegal acts anyway. So if they'll do that for drugs, they will also do them for firearms if it were illegal to have them. And when these criminals go out and do this, they're likely to attack a citizen who is unarmed and therefore has no way to protect themselves. Now, to go into my third and final argument, I know that everyone has heard the statement, guns kill people. And I'm also sure that you have heard the saying, or you've probably seen it on bumper stickers that say, guns don't kill people, people kill people. which I could not agree with more. Um, on an article found on Infowar.com, it says that people will stop at nothing to kill. The human will not stop its motive to kill just if guns were banned. An article by Kat Daniels in 2015, according to the FBI, nearly 5 times as many murders are committed with knives than so-called assault rifles. In 2014, of the 11,961 murders committed, only 248 were known to have been committed by assault rifle of some kind. Now, if guns were banned, people would still use other things to commit crimes: strangulation, fire, knives, other blunt objects, anything that they could possibly find. Now, in conclusion, I was born and raised around guns. I don't even remember the first time I ever shot the first gun, and I got my own rifle at the age of 9. So I am comfortable around them. I know how to use them. I'm very well educated in gun safety, and I think this makes a very big difference of people who have views that agree with me versus people who are anti-guns. Where I went to high school, you were required to take gun safety your freshman year. This way that you were very comfortable around guns, you know what to do in a situation if a gun is presented. And I think that if people are more educated, they will believe the same way I do. The Bible even says that if you do not own a sword, sell your cloak and buy one. Luke 22:36. And it is our human right to own a gun, and therefore I believe that it should never be taken away from us. Thank you.